Have you ever found yourself just staring at a massive spreadsheet, all those numbers blurring together and wondering, how do I make sense of any of this? Well, today, we're going to unlock the power of Matplotlib. It's the essential Python library that turns all that raw data into a real, compelling visual story. This is where your data finally learns to talk.
Right, so you've done all the hard work. You've collected the data, you've cleaned it up, it's all organized, and it's just sitting there, packed with potential insights. But let's be real for a second. Rows and columns of numbers don't exactly jump off the page, do they? So the big question is, how do you take that wall of text and turn it into something that actually communicates a clear, impactful message?
Well, that's exactly where Matplotlib comes in. It's this incredibly powerful open-source Python library that's built to create everything from a simple static chart to some really complex, animated, and even interactive plots. You can pretty much think of it as the original, most versatile artist toolkit for anyone who's working with data in Python.
So what makes this library your data's new best friend? In this first section, let's take a look at where it came from and break down the two absolute core concepts you've got to know to get started.
To really get why it's so important, we have to go all the way back to 2003. That's when John D. Hunter first created Matplotlib. Now, in the tech world, that's practically the Stone Age. But you know what? Its age is actually its biggest strength. It has been battle-tested for decades, and it literally laid the foundation for almost every other Python visualization tool that you see out there today.
Okay, so to get started, you really only need to wrap your head around two key ideas. Let's use this artist analogy. The entire canvas itself, that overall blank space you're working on, that's called the figure. Simple enough, right? Then each individual plot you actually draw on that canvas, whether it's a bar chart or a line graph, that's called the axes. And that's it. One single figure can hold just one plot, or it can hold a whole bunch of them, which gives you complete control.
All right, now that we've got our canvas and our plot concepts down, let's look at the different kinds of pictures we can actually paint. We're going to explore some of the most fundamental plot types that really form the backbone of telling a story with data. Matplotlib gives you a whole gallery of plot types right out of the box. You can use line plots to see trends over time, or bar charts to compare different groups. You can use scatter plots to see how variables relate to each other, and histograms to understand the distribution of your data. The point is, whatever story is hiding in your data, there's a plot type ready to help you tell it. But, just creating a basic plot is really just the first step. The real magic happens when you start to customize your visuals. That's how you make them not just informative, but also really clear, professional, and honestly, beautiful. And customizing doesn't have to be super complicated. It really just boils down to 3 simple steps that make a huge difference. First, you've got to add context, things like titles, labels, and legends. Without them, a plot is kind of meaningless. Second, you can improve readability with something as simple as grid lines. And third, you can compare data side by side using subplots, which is really just putting multiple axes onto a single figure, just like we talked about earlier.
And once you've created that perfect visualization, Matplotlib makes sharing it incredibly easy. You can save your plots in all sorts of high-quality formats, like PNG for a website, PDF for a document, or even SVG if you need graphics that can scale up. Your story is officially ready for that next big report or presentation.
So we've covered the basics of 2D charts, but Matplotlib doesn't just live on a flat canvas. Now, let's explore how it can actually bring your data into a whole new dimension.
Yeah, that's right. When your data has more than 2 dimensions, Matplotlib is totally ready for it. Using a built-in toolkit, you can create these absolutely stunning 3D visualizations, like the surface plot you're seeing here. This is where you really start to move beyond simple charts and begin exploring some truly complex relationships in your data. It's pretty cool. Now, one of the biggest reasons for Matplotlib's lasting success is that it doesn't work alone. Its true power is unlocked when you see how it fits into the bigger Python data science world. It's a real team player. So if you've ever worked with data in Python, you've almost certainly used or at least heard of pandas for organizing your data into those tables called data frames. Well, the great news is that Matplotlib and pandas work together seamlessly. They're basically best friends. You can create visualizations directly from your data frames with just a single line of code, which makes for a super fast and efficient way to explore your data.
You've also probably heard of another library called Seaborn and wondered, okay, what's the difference?
Well, this table explains the relationship perfectly. Think of Matplotlib as the foundation. It gives you total, fine-grained control over every single little detail.
Seaborn, on the other hand, is the specialist. It's a library that's built on top of Matplotlib. It uses Matplotlib's power under the hood to create really beautiful, complex statistical graphics with way less code. So the takeaway is simple. Learn the foundation first, and then you can use powerful specialist tools like Seaborn to work even faster.
So let's just take a quick step back. We've journeyed from figuring out what Matplotlib is, to its core concepts, basic plots, how to customize them, and finally where it fits in the wider ecosystem. It really is the foundational library that gives you the power to transform those silent numbers into a clear visual narrative. So I guess the only question left is, now that you have the tools, what story is your data going to tell?